Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today is Ramadan day 24. Subhanallah, just a couple of days left until Ramadan is finished. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the opportunity to see Ramadan through by His mercy and catch Laylatul Qadr, inshallah, by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I hope you had a wonderful iftar. I hope you had a wonderful fast. So today, like every day of the month, we're going to do another of Allah's name. Today we're going to do Al-Mubdi. Al-Mubdi, the originator. Al-Mubdi means that Allah is the one who brings creation into existence from nothing. He creates without any prior model or need for assistance. Everything in the universe, from the smallest atom to the vast galaxies, is a result of His will and power. This name reminds believers of Allah's absolute creative power and, and, and inspires awe for His ability to bring forth life and sustain it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when we acknowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only one God, there is no other God than Allah, then this by essence makes sense that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the originator of everything. Because if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had, a'udhu billah, astaghfirullah, had other gods, then he wouldn't be considered the originator. If there were gods and group of gods, then a god would create another god, and then there would be a group of gods that would have meetings about creation and things that we're used to and the human world. But that is not the case. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is alone, the one true God. There's no one above Him. Everything is below Him. Everything is His creation, the originator. If you talk to an atheist and you ask them, okay, so what do you believe in? So a lot of them will just say, yeah, so the universe is just, there was a big bang, and then all these materials just with, we had this amazing chance, the probability was just right, that everything just went in their way and everything just formed perfectly, and then Earth was created, and life was able to be created, and we came from small insects inside water or particles we transform into insects, and then from insects we became sort of like fishes, and fishes we became lizards, and from lizards we became monkeys, and from being monkeys we became human. A really strange theory. But that's actually what's being taught right now in our schools. I remember when I was going to when I was in high school, actually. When I was in high school, this was taught to every single kid. And it wasn't said that this is a theory, this is what we think happened. This was facts. This was facts in our books of history. So going back, if you ask an atheist what do they think, they will tell you something like this. But then if you ask them, okay, so where does the Big Bang come from, all of the materials, the origin? And they're going to be scratching their head. They're going to be like, you know what, it was just there. It was just always there. Or they wouldn't be able to give you an answer. They cannot give you an answer because they're really missing the core part, the entire argument, the entire thing that debunks their entire argument is that they're not ascribing an originator into their timeline. And that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the originator. If there was a Big Bang, if there was some initial something, that initial something was created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And now the question comes then, okay, so if God created everything, then who created God? And then who created that God? And then who created that created the one previously? And this complete regression just goes back, and it's recursive, right? And it just never ends up. And the problem with this argument, because if we keep saying who created him, then who created him, then who created him, then who created him, then this just never stops. And there's no clear originator. So for the universe, for the creation to have an originator, it needs a stop. It needs a stop, and that is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the God, the one true God, and everything below is the creation. The creation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created. One philosopher, I forgot his name, maybe it was, I don't think it was Aristotle, one of the Greek philosophers, even him, not being Muslim, I don't know if he was believing in God, but I don't think he was Muslim. Even him, as a philosopher, he agreed that the argument of having a God that creates another God, a great that creates another God, and then who created that God, and then who created that God, and always someone above and above and above and above, that argument is invalid. It's invalid because it never stops. And the fact that it never stops is just, there's just no creation. You just don't know where the true God, the one God is coming from. And even him, he said that what makes the most sense is that there must be an originator. There must be a one God. There must be that one entity, because if we just go further and further and further back, then it won't stop. It must be that one entity that just created everything. Even a Greek philosopher. Subhanallah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He creates without any help. It's not like a company, when you create a product, you have a designer, you have a coder, you have a marketer, you have the CEO, you have the CTO, and you have the factory workers, and you have so many workers in between just to create a small little product. I think I give the example in another video, but this pen over here had so many workers just working on this small pen. From the clicking design, to having the ink inside, to having the design of this pen. So many hands were into works for this small pen. But for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all this creation that we see, everything that we cannot even see, ourselves, yourself, your brothers, sisters, your parents, every single one of us was created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without effort, without needing any assistance. So everything in the universe, everything from the stars to the human beings to the jinn kind to the seen and the unseen, was created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And from here, from the definition that we're seeing, even the smallest of things like atoms, science discovers these new things, like I don't know when atoms were discovered, but when they were discovered, I'm sure it was this amazing thing that were built by millions and millions and billions of atoms. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all of these things that we discover every single day, we discover in science, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created all of these systems. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created these things prior to science discovering them. So let's always think that about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our creator. There is none that created us except by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He has power over everything, every single thing. He has power over your boss. He has power over your president. He has power over all the fears and all the big names and the big situations, whatever is in your mind. No one has true power. All power comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He is our creator. He is the originator of everything. So let's always think about this. Let's always think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our originator, our creator, and He is the one who takes life, He gives life, He does whatever He wants because He is the Lord of the universe. He is our Lord, the most merciful, the most generous. So this was Al-Mubdi, and this was Ramadan day 24. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.